It's December 21st, 2014, and we want to know, did the entire creative team at Batman and Robin get together to give me the greatest Christmas gift ever?
Is Batman finally going to dance with the devil by the pale moonlight?
All this and more is coming up next. It's Season 2, Ep 11 of DCR, starting now.
We rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Ho, ho, hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Holiday Edition special of DCR. It's special because we did it. That's really all we got. We showed up. Good times. I, of course, remain your host, Sean Lamont, comic book reader extraordinaire, and this week we're joined by different people. Well, not
I'm
all
always
of them.
here.
Yes, the first, you guys know him. It's Mr. Brian Gline. Hello, sir.
My Christmas name is Brian Freeze Gline.
That's the lamest Christmas name ever. That's almost as bad as your stupid giant robot names, too.
Yes.
But we are joined.
Yes, carrying in a palm tree covered in Christmas lights.
Yes.
It's Hollywood Scott.
I'm going to need help getting this palm tree through the door.
we were going to put a whole bunch of laser tags on whenever you showed up on the show, so it could be Morning Zoo-like. So you're back in Ohio again after your miserable time out there in Southern California, right?
Yeah, all that sunshine and lollipops and
Got lollipops too.
they do.
I feel
organic,
like
gluten-free lollipops.
Oh, yes, of course. And then you have to go to the gym for an hour after you eat your lollipop, but still.
Or no, spin latties.
Oh, spin latties.
Yes, no ordinary gyms anymore.
Do they give you lattes while you spin?
Probably.
I can deal with this. Spin lattes?
I think that's what it is. Spin lattes. You're on an exercise bike, sipping a latte.
I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, though.
Well, it's only set to backwards.
Okay, gotcha. Take miles off the odometer like Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course. But what we're going to do this week, other than just mock Scott for coming back to Ohio, you silly sumbitch.
It's Christmas.
Is go over everything that happened in DC Comics in their new 52 line. Talk about the things that happened in them, plot beats, storylines, character development, blah, 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 blah. But if you do not want your book spoiled, Brian, what should they not do?
Read them first?
Well, no, that's what they should do. What they should not do is listen any further.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then we're going to spoil them all. So
trying to mix it up, you know.
Well, you mixed it up when I asked you a straightforward question there.
Mm-hmm.
I got about 6 more minutes of Hollywood jokes in me if we want to.
Oh, yeah,
stall.
we can swing back around here real quick.
I'm just kidding.
So, before we jump into books, because they gave us a healthy number, not as much as next week, as we'll talk later, but we're gonna do some questions. We had one thing that I wanted to discuss as far as serious, real talk time, but I'm going to push that until after the holidays. So our one question for this week is from Felix Ellison, and I wish I knew a Felix. Seriously, I've never met a Felix in my life, and that is the best
Have another
name.
kid and name him Felix.
Yeah, I'd be like, bam, done. Well, I still couldn't get the whole, none of my name list as far as Quint. I was going to name him Quint.
That's a good one.
Yeah, from Jaws.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Every time he left, he would have to be like, farewell and adieu, you fair Spanish ladies. And I was like, yeah, you're going to be
We're going to need a bigger crib.
Or Tor, King of the Craggy Hilltop, was also thrown out. I feel kind of gypped. So maybe if I keep with those, I can probably slide Felix in under the mat there. Yeah. So, but Felix wrote in and says, I'm a bit late to the show and slowly catching up to your newer episodes, but I just have to ask, where does Sean get his powers of serendipity from? He goes on to elaborate. After not hearing the name for not just years, but decades, Sean was describing his childhood fantasies of shipping Beastmaster and Ladyhawk in the episode I am on. And lo and behold, today it was announced that Mark Singer, the actor better known as Beastmaster, will be joining the cast of Flash. Any chance Lee Majors can get a shout out next? Well, we just did. Lee Majors, we need you on one of these shows as well. I didn't ship him with anyone. Obviously, the $6 million woman would probably have been pretty easy sell.
Bionic Woman?
Bionic, I'm sorry. My bad.
I didn't watch any of them. I just knew they existed.
But he did have a bonus. Did you know that Mark Singer has done DC animation work before? He was the voice actor in Batman, the animated series 4. Brian, take a guess.
Ventriloquist.
No, it's very apt to our show.
Okay.
Do you want to take a stab?
I'm lost. No,
Okay, he was the voice actor for a character in the old Batman, the animated series.
Was he Man-Bat?
He was Man-Bat. Which brings it full circle into why he holds such a big role in our hearts, really. Our powers of serendipity are just that, just blind luck.
I still wish we had powers of multiplicity.
But yes, except for Kelly.
Down with Cusack, up with the Keaton.
8 Michael Keatons on the next episode.
Yes.
It's just all of them. As I said, we were all Xeroxes of Xeroxes.
Yeah.
And then we got a question asking what a Xerox was. And I was like, oh.
What? Did you fax them the answer?
Yeah, I did.
He made a ditto of it, then he faxed it to them.
But that's it. We're going to keep it short on the questions. So let's jump on ahead into this week's books. Brian, you're leading us off.
Yes, I'm leading us off with Justice League 37. It's the Amazo virus, Sean.
It is. It's so amazing.
It's amazing. Still don't know why you would call a virus that, but if we're going under the assumption that Amazo has never existed in the DC universe before.
Well, he has. They even reference it in this one. That the cyborg, they say that it's just like the cyborg. It can take on the powers that they can get.
Oh, yeah, they did fight Amazo towards the beginning of the run.
Yep.
Like one issue that was drawn by Gene Ha that looked amazing.
Yep, and he just showed up and was like, what's up, I'm Amazo. Oh man, I'm dead.
Yeah. Yeah, so Lex Luthor has joined the Justice League. He helped save the world when, the villains took over, because if any villain was going to take over the world, it was going to be him. So in the public eye, he's very positive right now. We may have been talking about this the last time you were on. I don't know. They've been dragging the storyline out so long.
Is this the Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor? Or
yeah, he's trending.
Kevin Spacey.
Soon enough.
He's trending.
Okay.
Something fierce.
Yes.
So
Yo's cooler than a billion Supermans? Wait, I don't know. I had a joke there.
Okay. You lost it. You gotta wander it
I think I said it the wrong way.
Went back to Hollywood there.
So
ended the writing career of Scott Glenn.
It ended a while ago.
When Lex Luthor was being inducted into the Justice League in a big press conference, a supervillain attacked his LexCorp building, unleashed the Amazo virus that Lex Luthor was working on in his super secret science lab. And so now everyone in Metropolis is gaining superpowers because of the virus and then dying because of it.
Yes, it liquefies all of your internal organs after so much time.
Yes, and all of these and if you have superpowers, it takes them away from you.
Which was the initial reason why he designed it, to kind of get rid of all metahumans, just take away all powers.
Yeah. Because he claims in this issue that it's like, I did it because of all the superpowered criminals who are constantly escaping in under 3 months from their superpowered prisons. And his sister, who's, I don't know, sick or wheelchair bound or something. I don't quite
hit by a meteor, I'm assuming.
Hit by a meteor, probably, yeah. Yeah, she's just like, oh, and it wasn't just a thing that you created to try to stop Superman? He's like, oh, no. I'm totally telling the truth. I'm Lex Luthor. That's what I do.
That sounds like nothing I would do.
Yeah.
Me and Superman are besties now.
Mm-hmm. So, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman wearing a Hazbat suit, which he calls as such.
Oh,
I'm still sticking with the Biohazard Batman because it sounds more Kmart.
Yes.
I know he's calling it the Hazbat, but Biohazard Batman is much more Kmart special.
Yes.
With the Arctic climbing suit and
the neon laser luge. Yeah. Yeah, but I do like the fact that Superman clowns on him for calling it the Hazbat suit. He's like, what? It was Robin's idea. It was my son, so you can't make fun of me for it. Batman. So they're tracking down Patient Zero. I'm not sure if that's his name or if he's just he's Patient Zero, and everything is capitalized in comic books, so you can't really tell.
He's Pizarro.
Yeah.
If we're going to go with the Bizarro naming style, if he's Patient Zero, he's going to be P0, so I'm going to say he's Pizarro.
Okay. Conquering South America, one small tribe at a time. But no, he's basically like a viral version of Amazo. If he sees someone with powers, he can copy them, and he's not dying because of it. he had an initial resistance to it, so it's making him a superpowered person. He sees Superman's heat vision, he shoots Batman with heat vision. You see Superman can fly, he grows giant bat wings.
He turns into Man-Bat.
Yeah.
The closest thing to Batman's powers is Man-Bat, really.
Yeah, so Lex Luthor and his head of security, Captain Cold, who's a Flash villain, who also he helped out Lex Luthor when he saved the world, so he got a get out of jail free card and joined up with him. And we've already seen he's going to join the Justice League eventually.
Eventually.
Like 8 months ago that he's going to be joining. Hasn't actually joined yet. Yeah. So they get taken out by some guy, some assassin that's coming after Lex Luthor for releasing the Amazo virus. His name's Bullet.
It's very straightforward.
Bullet. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
It'd be much better if he had a nice old 70s car.
Yeah.
And would just drive around real fast, have an awesome chase scene.
Yeah.
Is it at least spelled different?
What's it?
No, it's
it's spelled like Bullet.
It's just Bullet, like a bullet.
No fancy, okay.
No.
Like I'm shooting a gun, I'm Bullet.
He's the danger of fruit stands and pane of glass moving everywhere.
Yes. Lex Luthor and Captain Cold, they get taken out by Bullet. At the end of the issue, the big three, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, they tussle with Patient Zero, so Batman could get a blood sample, and then Patient Zero kicks him in the face, shatters Batman's hazmat suit, and so he gets exposed to the virus, and Batman's going to get superpowers next issue. And then die, probably.
The liquefied organs.
Yeah,
again.
because we know what will happen to Batman.
Yeah, he always dies.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the most expendable of all of these characters.
Yep.
He makes them no money whatsoever. They've just been keeping him around to kill him off, I think. So
Yeah.
we all know he's gone.
Yeah.
We all know it. What do you think? Fabok's doing pretty damn good on the art.
Yeah, Fabok's really good.
Yeah.
Nice find there, guys.
Well, he was kind of the fan favorite on Batman Eternal when he was doing his pages.
All right.
And that's why he's kind of been shifted over into the center ring with Justice League, it seems. And
okay, yeah.
He earned it.
He draws a good Wonder Woman.
Yeah, he definitely earned it.
Everyone looks really good in there. I would like to see some of the other heroes who have been sitting in cots the entire time.
Come on, we
silly
get to check in every issue.
Silly me wanting to read Justice League to see all of the superheroes I like, and only seeing Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman,
and
who
Lex
I can't
Luthor.
find anywhere else.
And
I
Lex
can't find
Luthor.
them anywhere else. Thank you, DC. I don't want to see Aquaman or Cyborg or Shazam doing anything cool.
If only all those characters without their own books had some place to go.
I know, right? If only. But yeah, I totally they're presenting Patient Zero in a really interesting way. There's a lot more to it than me glossing over it for the fact that we're recording this on the day it's going to come out.
Yes, and please cut us some slack this week. It is a holiday time frame,
yeah.
so we're kind of going high level this week to get everything done.
Yeah, and I totally understand the high Justice League concept of Batman with superpowers is totally a selling point.
Yeah.
I totally see that. I'm intrigued by what's going to happen. Yeah.
Especially once we get to Batman and Robin. Especially once we get there.
I didn't get to read that this week, so we will see what that's going to be.
Yep. So it may be a fun time frame for everyone to have powers. So.
I see.
So next up, Earth 2 World's End number 11. I love asking people who have no idea what this book is about. Scott, what do you think Earth 2 World's End is about?
Some kind of post-apocalyptic event.
Close.
Maybe with a teenager who likes one boy but also might like another boy?
Possible.
Or is that all other literature?
That's all other literature.
That's all other literature. Okay.
Yeah. Anything else with words? That's what it says right now. No, this is pre-apocalyptic. This is actually Earth 2 being destroyed. The moon has been blown up. You remember
Earth 2?
Earth 2.
Oh, jeez.
You remember the whole multiversal thing that we talked about before? How you have like Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3. It's like a dimensional thing.
Yes.
Well, this is Earth 2, and they went, well, we already broke Earth 3, so let's destroy this one.
They're going out of order. They had to jump back.
It's the Independence Day thing where they're just going to all their major landmarks and just going boom, boom, and blowing up.
Which planet is Bill Pullman president on? All of them?
I don't know.
Is he intergalactic president yet?
Not yet. I think that's Earth, Earth awesome, honestly. But in this one, they have gone to Apocalypse, which is the giant moon-shaped evil planet where Darkseid and his evil gods live, and they're there to basically take over Earth 2. They showed up, they got their guys with trucks, they got their stuff all boxed up, they want to move on to Earth 2 before their planet dies, and just kind of take it over from there. So they launched an assault against Apocalypse, some of the heroes of Earth 2, and their plan was basically just dig a bunch of holes, put a bunch of nuclear devices down those holes, and then detonate it and explode it. I don't know where they got that plan from.
History has told us that always works.
Yeah, but they didn't take Bruce Willis. It's their fatal flaw in their plan, really. I mean,
they only took Affleck.
They only took Affleck.
Only Affleck.
Oh, curses. If only we had a second team when our first digger
I got these
broke.
animal crackers. Come on, isn't this going to work?
But this team that has been up there, one of the people that was on it was a lady by the name of Big Barda, who I can't help but think of Large Marge from Pee-wee Herman every time I hear her
She's
name.
much cooler than Large Marge.
Why?
Come on, nobody is.
But she has shown up, and she has actually betrayed the team. She is working for Darkseid and has tricked Mr. Miracle, the quote-unquote son of Darkseid, into freeing him from his cell that he was kind of trapped in the center of this planet. Fury, who is Wonder Woman's daughter on Earth 2, and Mr. Miracle, they get pretty ticked off about this whole thing, and they throw everything they got at Darkseid. Everything, including those stupid little boom sphere things that they had.
They made it that they wrote like a whole issue about?
Yeah, and it does nothing.
Okay.
It literally does nothing. So they're defeated. They're captured. Darkseid gives Fury an ultimatum and says, you can either join me and become head of the Furies. Your name is already Fury.
Yeah.
It's kind of typecast for you. And she acquiesces and says, fine, we'll do it. And they take Mr. Miracle captive to torture him. Yay! So after Fury gets her, I don't know what her confirmation from the Darkseid Senate, she goes in and they ask her a bunch of questions.
At least 2/3 majority.
At least 2/3.
Gave her permission.
And apparently the left-leaning side of the Apocalypse Senate is very against this, and they don't want her there whatsoever.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they're holding the whole thing up.
Yeah.
She finally gets approved to become the head of the Furies, and that's when she is approached kind of oddly by Mr. Horrific, as we call him. He's actually the Mr. Terrific of another Earth. We don't know which one. He just kind of shows up all the time. He's not a nice guy. Mr. Terrific is a hero everywhere else, but this guy seems to go above and beyond the moral line to actually get done what he needs to get done. And he shows up and goes, hey, I'm about to go talk to Darkseid because, I'm an affable guy. Everybody loves me. I'm sure he'll meet with me. By the way, Mr. Miracle is here. You should break him out of prison, Fury, and meet me in the council chamber. Just hide somewhere in there in like 10 minutes and you'll see exactly what the plan is here. And she's like, well, that was weird, but I guess I'll do it. And cause she doesn't really want to be head of the Furies anyway, even after she went through that rigorous approval thing. It was the bureaucracy. It turned her off. She's done with it already. She just got confirmed. I'm done with the bureaucracy. And she breaks Mr. Miracle free and leads him to that audience chamber where Mr. Horrific is talking to Darkseid, and a deal has been struck. He tells Darkseid, look, I already talked to Highfather, who is kind of the quote-unquote good guy of the New Gods. He's order.
He's their leader.
Yeah, he's basically, Highfather represents order, Darkseid is chaos. It's for lack of a better term, that's kind of the easy thing. So he goes, I already talked to Highfather, I struck a deal, you guys don't have to have a war. You can have this entire universe, we'll even call it a feeder universe. You can just eat everything in the Earth 2 plane. As long as you stay here, everyone's happy. What do you say? Peace treaty, huh? And that leads, Mr. Miracle and Big Barda to go basically, all these new gods are dicks. So let's not work with them anymore. Let's go work with all the humans on Earth. They seem to be the only people that are actually trying to save lives. So Mr. Miracle claims that he will become their miracle and save the planet of Earth too. And that's where it ends. So
I'm sure he'll do a perfectly good job doing that.
yes, I'm sure nothing will happen. He'll never get captured.
He'll never wind up being...
Yeah, he'll never get put in a death trap because his superpower is he's an escape artist. So oddly enough, he just seems to get captured every other issue.
Yep. He was that guy, we had his action figure. He was that guy, he squeezed his legs and then his arms went up and he had like handcuffs that he broke out of.
Oh, yes.
Your favorite one, if I remember.
Yes.
But that's it. It's fun. It's the big, Michael Bay popcorn. Boom, 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 explosions, stuff happening all over the place. And now we're starting to dig into some of the actual character work of the betrayals and people turning on each other, and there's bigger plots in play. So it's a fun read if you're looking for something along that type. Next up, what do we got? Do I go again? No, I don't. You go, Brian. And what the book that we should have led off on, but I wanted to get some of the other stuff out of the way first.
All right, so it is the Multiversity Thunderworld Adventures #1. We're on Earth 5.
What's that?
We're on Earth 5.
Yes, Earth 5 now. See, it's easy. Pullman not present here either.
No,
man.
I'm sorry to say.
Yeah,
Is there some kind of flow chart I can look at?
Actually, next month there is a guide to the multiverse coming out that is a literally breakdown of all 52 Earths. So you can
really look the in my inner child.
I'm going to print it out really big and hang it on my wall, and
then you'll go
get
home.
some pieces of string.
And, he's put together a string board.
Yeah, just
String
for no
board.
reason.
String board.
Just to have it.
All right, so we've been jumping around to various Earths around the multiverse, and there's this big multiversal threat that's kind of attacking all of reality, and the universes are communicating with each other to try to warn each other via comic books, because what happens in each world also shows up as a comic book in the other worlds. So it's this really big high
meta.
concept.
Yeah.
It's Grant Morrison writing about the power of comic books and how awesome they are. It's really fun.
And he is of the firm belief that all fiction actually takes place in a different dimension.
Yes.
Who's Grant Morrison, Brian? You've never told me about him.
You've been on the show, 3 times, and even you're like, dude, Grant Morrison. You say that a lot.
Been hearing it my whole life, as far as I can remember.
So, we're on Captain Marvel's world. This is the old original Captain Marvel. They call him Shazam now because Marvel Comics. But,
and we get to celebrate a new holiday.
Sivanaday?
Sivanaday! Happy Sivanaday, everybody!
It's like Festivus, but with more evil scientists and giant monsters.
Which is so much better.
I know. Pull Monster Society of Evil. Pull Monster Society of Evil. So...
But there is a lot of airing of grievances, though, in both.
Does somebody get pinned at the end? Like
No. There are several feats of strength.
Yes, many of those.
Yes. So, Dr. Sivana, sort of the evil, ugly, mad scientist foe of Captain Marvel, has created his own science-based Rock of Eternity. That's where the wizard who gave Captain Marvel his powers lives. So he made an even bigger Rock of Eternity that's made out of science stuff.
The American way.
Yep, and takes over the real Rock of Eternity. And he figured out a scientific way to harness the magic powers that they have. So he gives his children, like Captain Marvel powers, except they say Sivana and they gain it instead of Shazam. And he sticks his kids on Captain Marvel. And there's a lot of fighting.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to give anything away.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's a lot of fun interactions between the characters. There's a thing where, like, Billy Batson, who's, like, totally doing the Gee-Whiz, Boy of Tomorrow, kid reporter thing.
Yep.
Except now with new high-tech devices.
Yeah, he's got, like, a headset.
Yes.
He's got a super futuristic Bluetooth that's massive on his head.
Yes. And so, he comes to himself from the future to warn him about how Dr. Sivana is trying to take over the day. And there's this whole thing where Dr. Sivana is, like, stealing this weird, fake mineral he's stealing time from all the other universes because he has been reading... Suspendium, thank you. I was thinking of unobtainium.
No, it was in 52 as well. That was where he ended up making the whole moth thing.
Oh, yeah, I haven't finished that yet, so...
In 52?
Well, no, I'm rereading your
Oh, that's
copy.
right. Okay,
yes,
yes. I'm sorry.
Yet,
Yeah.
So more Grant Morrison talking about his old stuff. So Sivana's trying to create an extra day of the week, which is the day where he can beat Captain Marvel. Sivanaday. So like every single Captain Marvel thing you could want to see, from his wacky cousins to
Talkie
Tawny, the gigantic talking tiger with superpowers. They fight. The Monster Society of Evil shows up. He's conferring with all of the Dr. Sivanas of the multiverse on this big panel thing. And there's like a luchador Dr. Sivana, and there's like an evil mass murdering one from like the Grim and Gritty reality. There's one guy that just looks like Moby, who's like what the normal human being does.
I love that one. He's like, am I the only one that's not like an evil mad scientist? I'm just like a 9-to-5 guy that just wants to,
does remixes. And lets people download his music for free.
Yeah. Captain Marvel, he eventually saves the day, and I love the fact that he looks at the comic books. He's like, wait, everyone's world's dying. This isn't nice. Why would anyone want to read this? And just crumbles it up and throws it in the wastebasket.
Yep.
So who knows if he's actually going to go and try to combat the multiversal threat like some of the other characters are, or if not. Although we do know that the evil mass murdering one, he's really ragging on how he wants to kill Mary Marvel.
Yes.
I almost wonder if that's going to be the thing that plays into the greater story in the final issue.
Oh, you think so?
I think it seems like they're really driving that one home. So.
They were pushing that pretty hard, but I wasn't sure if it was just to get across that the guy in the Hannibal Lecter mask was evil.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe the visual cue wasn't enough.
Yeah, or just his way of saying, he's like, yeah, I'm not really a fan of those evil, torture porn comics, but it's obviously a thing that exists.
Yay, snuff comics.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna give it another.
I'm gonna give it like 50 thumbs up.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's Grant Morrison and Cameron Stewart, one of my favorite artists and my favorite writer.
So let me ask you a question. Could that survive in today's market?
I honestly
think as a one shot, is that basically its shelf life?
I think with the semi-ironic nostalgia comics internet, I think it could survive.
You do?
I really think so.
See, I think it would have
especially with all the dads that are now, comic readers that want to like pass stuff on to their kids. That's totally something you can give to kids.
Yeah, I can see
Except
that.
Except for Hannibal Lecter, Dr. Sivanaday.
Well, yeah, there was a couple things.
You can just sweep that under the rug. He's a bad guy.
I was just curious if you thought it could survive, because it seems very wholesome for the most part.
It's wholesome, but with a wink.
Yes. Yes. I'm with you. That's why I asked you the question. Mm-hmm. That's why I asked. Scott, are you into when you thought of comic books before you even really read anything or listened to us babble about them whatsoever, did you think that they were more of like the wholesome golly gee whiz, or were you thinking they were more like the modern era, holy crap, we gotta kill everybody, and just explosions and gunshots? And
I think a little bit of both.
Really?
I guess I kind of assumed both.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it like existing in the same book, or just like two different books aiming at those two different
maybe
markets.
I guess I thought of it as separate thing. Like, there's a market for this, market for that. Kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. I could see that. Yeah. I was just curious what people are thinking, because I know when I was thinking about them, a lot of the time it was golly gee whiz.
Mm-hmm. Maybe when I was a kid, that's what everything seemed like.
Yeah, I think maybe my childhood, I may have ran across a couple of them, and that's what I got out of it, was like, well, that's not really me. So
one of my very first comics was an old X-Men classics that reprinted a story where Storm just started running around naked, because apparently she did that all the time back in the day. And I'm just like, and all I can remember is things like, am I allowed to read this? Should I be reading this?
See, mine was the old EC horror stuff that was my dad's. So if anyone knows what issue has Confederates, zombies after a bunch of Confederate gold that some guy stole, let me know, because I want to know. I remember that issue. So anyway, moving on. Green Lantern New Guardians number 37. Remember how I said Highfather was kind of the good guy, New God? He's kind of also a totalitarian dick, and that's what we're dealing with in this one right here.
All right.
He obviously has been against Darkseid, who, for all intents and purposes, is the big bad guy of the DC universe. He is the ultimate evil, and Highfather is his counterpart. But he's been so consumed with this, I must fight him, I must stop him, that now he has put together what we call the magic stick, that is all of the different Green Lantern rings glued to the stick, and it has formed the life equation. That's what it's called. It's, you put cinnamon on, I don't know, some sort of oat cereal, and it's now life equation. And
Sounds
so
delicious.
What he has been doing is using this stick to take the free will away from all the planets in the multiverse and turn all of the populations into the ultimate soldiers that can fight against Darkseid. Basically, yay, I'm Order, but I've gone so far over the line into Order that now I'm not really a good guy anymore, and now all the Lanterns have been trying to stop them in this event that has been called Godhead. Not the best name, but it's what we got. So, on the actual planet where Highfather lives, this place called New Genesis. It's actually a city that's floating above the wreckage of their old planet, Old Genesis, I'm assuming, or just Genesis, where they can't dance and they can't sing. And
nope, not at all.
On this planet, there are two people, one of them being Kyle, He is one of the Green Lanterns who has used to be the
formidable
White
superhero, Kyle.
Yes, Kyle. But Kyle Rayner has lost his ability because he handed over the white ring to Highfather, thinking he was going to be a good guy, and then he went all totalitarian. And then his quasi-girlfriend, Carol Ferris, who is the Star Sapphire, the Lantern of Lerv, and they have both lost their powers and been cast down to the planet, and they're watching the city fly ahead, and they're like, oh, we gotta get up there. How are we gonna get up there? And Carol, of course, is very irate. Still, I don't know why she's still so irate that, you know, Kyle, when he had godlike powers, accidentally turned her into the physical form of his ex-girlfriend instead of her. Oops. So she's a little ticked off about that one. He's going to be sleeping on the space couch for at least a couple days.
Probably never getting out of that.
No, that's a big doghouse to get out of. But while they're arguing, Metron shows up in his little floaty chair. And he's like, comes down, I am the Metron, I am all life and science and blah, blah, blah.
I love how you're talking to Scott the entire time. As soon as you mention Metron, okay, I'm going to look at Brian because he's the only one that's going to understand this.
Metron is kind of like the super scientist of the gods. He serves science and science alone. He doesn't care about the philosophical battles. He just wants to understand everything. So he is science incarnate, essentially. And he comes down on his floaty chair, all pomp and circumstance about how he is the great Metron, and I come bringing knowledge, and I seek knowledge. And Kyle responds by throwing a rock at his head. And there's just this one panel with Metron with his head tilted like, really? And then the next panel is Carol like, really? And he's like, he's got a floaty chair. We needed a floaty chair to get back up there.
I love you, Kyle.
and Metron goes, hey, you know, let's real talk, you and me right now. I can't help you because I'm a new god too, and I work with Highfather. So surely I would never whoops, shoot my laser beam into the wreckage on the ground there and show you where a mother box is that could teleport you anywhere you needed to go at least one time. I would never do those things. So see you later. Bye. And he floats away, leaving those two to pick up the mother box that was on the ground. They use it once to try to get to their friends, and they teleport deeper into the floating city of New Genesis, which happens to be right where John Stewart, not the TV personality, but in this case the Green Lantern, Saint Walker, the greatest lantern who has ever lived.
Wrong, but okay.
And Malhedron, the new god who has turned against Highfather for being too totalitarian. They are basically trying to figure out how they can launch an insurgency against this god on his own plane of existence. Not exactly an easy thing to do. And these two show up. They're like, hey, and they have their whole big hug. Yay, you're still alive. We thought you were dead. Oh, okay. Yay. Awesome. And that's when they're attacked by a group of the Royal Guard of Highfather. They beat them up, take their weapons, and then decide their insurgency will be, hey, why don't we take these weapons and go right after Highfather himself? Yeah, that seems like a good insurgency. That's how those things work, right? You go straight to the general and attack their base in a forward fashion. Yeah.
Foolproof plan.
Yeah, that's pretty insurgent.
Yeah.
So they jump out there and attack him. During the fight, Kyle actually destroys the magic stick.
Oh,
he
man.
no longer has the magic stick.
No.
For shame.
Mm-hmm.
But as such, the rings fall off that were glued onto the side of it, and he picks up his white ring, thinking, now I get to power up again and be awesome, and he goes, White Lantern powers activate! But apparently it's been drained, and he just stands there looking
This sounds like something somebody made in like a third grade art class. The way you describe it. The super glue didn't hold, and the rings fell off.
My special arts and crafts way of conquering the universe is not going to do it.
This macaroni ring will save us all.
So he ends up looking like a tool because his ring doesn't work, and Highfather goes, you know what? I'm tired of you gnats just flying around annoying me all the time. The life equation is already inside me. I've already absorbed it into me, so watch this. Bazat, and he shoots them all with the white ray, and they are all disintegrated into ash, and that's where it ends, with everyone turned to ash. Yay! Okay. Green Lantern New Guardians. We know it's coming to a close here in a couple months, so maybe they'll just kill everybody. Who knows?
Yeah.
There is a little bit thing at the end where the Guardians of the Universe are saying, remember they were in that prison ball?
Yeah.
They go, hey, our ride's done. We tricked them into bringing us to New Genesis, so let's all leave now. And they just leave the prison ball because they can.
No.
The Guardians. They just leave. They're like, see you later, guys. Don't get turned into White Lantern thingamabobberoos without us. We'll be over here getting we have a spin latte class to attend, and we just have to hit it. Sorry, guys.
We got the Groupon. We've got to use it or else we lose the money.
There are 7 of us. I mean, how else are we going to pay for all these lattes?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way to do it. But that's it. It's a fun little read. I enjoy it still. It's an event that when it was leading up to it, I was stoked for it just because of the New Gods and the Lanterns crossing over, and it's playing out quite well for me at least. Not as much rehash as previous Lantern crossovers, which is a good thing and a bad thing. If you're following just one of the books, probably not as good of a thing. If you're following all the books, it's much better to not reread the same thing for the first half of the next issue in a different book. Yeah. So, moving on.
All right, I'm moving on. We're staying in space with Supergirl 37. Supergirl recently had a creative team change, and so after the last couple of attempts weren't really working, they decided let's send Supergirl to space Hogwarts.
This is sounding an awful lot like Hollywood. Well, that didn't work. Start it over again.
Send them to Hogwarts. I don't know.
Hey, we need another Spider-Man.
So, Supergirl, she is at space Hogwarts. It's called the Crucible. It's a place where, like, the best person from each planet goes to train to be a better leader. Very altruistic and whatnot. And she's got her little group of friends, like her little, like, study group that she's been put into, with Maxima, who is a strong warrior lady who's very cold.
No nonsense.
No nonsense, kind of a teacher's pet, but she just might wind up being Kara's friend. And all the girls love Handsome Comet, but he's much smarter than he looks. And Savo is a cat person.
Well, he's the rough and tumble jock of the group, but he may have a heart of gold.
He might have a heart of gold, yeah.
Comes from the wrong side of the multiverse.
Yes.
On the opposite side of the tracks on the multiverse.
Yes. Yep.
Which that train, I tell you, that is a big ass train.
It's an amazing train. It goes through portals and everything.
The train that Billy Batson went on to get his Shazam power. So it turns out that the teachers have ulterior motives. Like the tactics teacher has a shady past and wants the people in charge of the school to clone their students so they can have a peacekeeping army without harming the students. And the people in charge kind of go along with it, but they put the main principal in charge because she's very skeptical of it. And they begin looking at Superboy as the ideal person to clone.
You know who hasn't been cloned enough? Superboy.
It's almost the whole joke.
It really is.
Yes, so...
Who's apparently living the Kung Fu series as we see in his little panels.
He's just wandering the earth, becoming one with nature and
like
humanity,
communing with monks and just roaming the earth.
Feeding animals and stuff.
Catching flies and chopsticks. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, so Savo's home planet is experiencing a civil war, so his groups get sent to deal with it, and his mother, the queen, is dying, and his brother is going to kill their dad. Oh, noes!
But they're the Crucible rejects.
Yes.
His brother and the pals that he has aligned himself with are all the people that got kicked out of Crucible. Or I'm sorry, Space Hogwarts for being too evil or too
Savo's brother was
abusive.
too busy trying to put out fires with gasoline.
Not a good plan.
Dang cat people.
Do you like this new direction?
It's very fun. It's a lot of it is hinging on the fact that Emanuela Lupacino's artwork is really nice. It's very stylized. It's really working for me. So, you know.
She sounds like someone that would hit at spin lattes.
Yeah.
Lupacino.
Yes, I know.
See where I was going there?
Yes.
Isn't it funny? Is it humorous?
Yes, she's Italian. We get it, dude.
Yes. So moving on. I kind of enjoy the new one. I think it's much more lighthearted.
Yes.
And they even make, the comment where she's asking about how, hey Supergirl, haven't you ever like hit on a guy before or talked to guys before? And she's like, well, there's Michael, that kid in a wheelchair that I'm supposedly dating back on Earth. I've kind of made out with everyone else since.
Yeah. Yeah, poor Michael, who we just know he's never going to be heard from again, but they mentioned him.
Just a panel of him sitting in his chair looking out the window of the stars while she's having all these adventures and hanging out with all the awesome space boys, and he's just sitting there like...
With Space Wolf. and Space, what's his name? Space Twilight guy.
Edward?
Space Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, there you go.
I was searching for a sillier British name, but he doesn't have the silly British name.
Felix is a good one.
But it's not silly, it's awesome. I'm saying silly.
So moving on, Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 37. They're outlaws.
Okay, on to the
moving
next
on. Actually, it's the origin of Roy Harper.
Okay, didn't he get his own origin issue?
It's the pre origin of Roy Harper. Guess what? He's super smart.
Okay,
but he's a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
So who does he go hang out with? Oliver Queen, who is super smart, kind of like Steve Jobs, as far as hey, look at all this big tech that I'm getting out there, and he's giving the big Steve Jobs speech, and then they ask him a question, so he just flicks everyone off. He's like, look how much of a dick I am, woo! And so Roy Harper instantly goes, I need to work for this guy. And he gets offered the job, goes and works for him, and he develops all of this different tech, and has a great friendship with Ollie, but still doesn't know he's Green Arrow until one day Queen Industries is attacked by terrorists, I guess. I don't know, people attack, and he runs into Oliver's office to find him dressed up like Green Arrow, and this kind of ticks him off because, as he kind of goes through and looks at all.
Does he only have his pants halfway on? He's hopping up down one leg like a flamingo.
No, he's actually fully dressed. He was just putting the mask on as he walked in the door. So it's that domino mask that completely masks who he is, and we just can't tell. So
there's a whole episode of that on Teen Titans.
Yes, there is. There is a bit of a scuffle there because Roy feels that he's been taken advantage of. He notices that all of the tech he's been designing for Queen Industries has been used as Green Arrow's arsenal. He's been putting it all together onto arrows, and he goes, you didn't even want me.
You designed this amazing boxing glove. I had to put it on an arrow.
But he's yelling at Oliver Queen, you didn't want me, you just wanted a damn arsenal. Hey, that's a pretty good name. I'm going to take it on as my own persona. I'm Arsenal now. Look at me. Woodly, 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 woo. And then we kind of flash forward to the future where he just got burned by Starfire, quite literally, because she's hopped up on space drugs. And then the other member of their team, Red Hood, decided that since he's going to be fighting alone because Starfire's hopped up on space drugs and Roy Harper's in the hospital, that he would just start taking a whole bunch of different kind of Earth drugs that would make him super strong. He's taking Bane's venom, that big gloopy stuff, to make him all huge and roidy. So Roy decides he's going to go do it himself, and there's kind of a reconciliation between Oliver Queen and Roy in this one because it's basically all told through Ollie visiting him at the hospital as he's getting ready. But it ends with I wish we could end this with a hug and we're on good terms now, but that's not how life works. It's messy. I gots to go. Maybe we'll talk later. See you later. Ciao. Flicks him off. Flies out the window. Swings away. It's a nice little story. Roy Harper is the glue that makes this book work, so it's always nice to see more of his stuff. He hasn't gotten as much play as I would like as far as the focus of the storyline, because he has been that center character between the crazy loopy space adventures of Starfire and the gritty down-to-earth street adventures of Red Hood.
The stab adventures of Red Hood.
Yeah, he's kind of that middle thing that ties it all together, so they haven't really focused on him too much because I don't think it would play as well with the other two characters as him being okay, I have to drag this person along on a crazy space adventure. Okay, I have to drag her along on a stabby street adventure. And so, I don't know. I just like his character in this book, and any focus on him, I'm happy with.
Cool.
So I think I have another one before we get to your Future's End stuff, and that is Trinity of Sin number 3. They're on Salvador Dali Earth. It's not MC Escher.
Not
Earth.
MC Escher.
No, everything's all melty in this one. So
they're really branching out.
If you
maybe
had
they'll do Hieronymus Bosch next.
It's a running joke with us that whenever magic has taken effect and it's a magical warping of the world, it's always like an MC Escher staircase, basically. That's how they quick reference it in the comics. So you're hey, magic crazy stuff. You got it? Well, now we're doing Dali, so it's all.
Why is that hand drawing another hand?
Very hard to tell what time it is.
We're following.
All the clock's melting.
I know.
Yeah. It
sucks. You can't get anything done. You're do I have to go to work now? I can't tell.
It's 8:30 already.
Is it AM or PM?
How's that giant thing being supported by those spindly little legs? I'm so confused.
But in this one, we're following the adventures of the Trinity of Sin, who are Phantom Stranger, Pandora, and The Question. And they have been used in a ritual to turn Earth into Dark Earth by this big demon guy named Nimra, as I call him, this giant eagle-looking guy. So they escape, but they have to be kept alive so that the spell can actually finish, and then they get recaptured. And Brian, we get what we wanted, though, because to keep them alive yet out of his hair, Nimrod casts all these different spells on them, and the one he does on Phantom Stranger, he basically appears as Cassandra Kraft to him and turns Phantom Stranger into his sex slave. So now we have our 1-900 biblical number that we can call up and talk. Phantom Stranger is Judas Iscariot. So Judas Iscariot has just been made a sex slave in this book. You know, because.
Probably had it coming to him.
I'm sure he probably did. I mean, you know, Judas. Pandora gets her mind wiped and thrown in a labor camp, and Question is forced to
answer things.
No, they like strap him to this machine, and Nimrod says, okay, well, I had to suffer for eons because my world was destroyed and I was the only survivor, so you have to absorb all that pain from me, and sure, you're gonna be tortured, I guess. Yay, you get to be the only guy with free will. Luckily, Pandora backed up her persona in her own head and is able to reboot herself pretty much, and comes back and saves the other two. And they go off on this quest because they get a vision from the other humanoids there that they can stop this from happening by getting the redemption box. Not Pandora's box, but the redemption box. So they go on this massive quest for weeks, months, maybe years. We don't know, as they travel the earth until they finally find it. And just as they're about to get it, Question betrays them. He has been working for Nimrod this whole time, and turns around and summons all the demons to stop them from getting it.
All right.
You know what sucks?
This book?
No, I want to like this book. I should like this book. I've talked about it before. Combative philosophy is my thing. I like that. Philosophy with guns and swords. I'm all about that.
Read Action Philosophers. It's much better.
I have read that, actually. Okay. It's really good. But here's the problem. The creative team is picking at the edges of the philosophy, and you could tell just by reading it that they want to deep dive in, but they can't, so they're kind of restraining themselves, and I want them to deep dive in, so even I'm getting frustrated with it as well. And I'm like, guys, just go in it whole hog. If you're going to have philosophical battles, just have them right there. And then just go, nope. We have to stay back a little bit so that people are, you know, reading a comic book. They're not reading a philosophy thing here. And I'm like, oh, so I'm depressed. I feel like the creative team is depressed. Everyone's depressed. I don't know. As I said, I want to like it. It's not really aimed at me in its current incarnation, but meh.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. Meh. So moving on. Futures End.
All right. The New 52, Futures End number 33, our weekly trip to 5 years in the future.
5 years in the future.
So, there's just little things happening. We're going to continue on. You're going to be completely lost, Scott. We're just going to deal with it.
Yeah. It's a hard book to recap. Yeah. Because it's all time travel and people jump around.
The people who have been following through, good on you for doing that. So, starting off in space, Stormwatch is battling Shade and their gigantic monsters. When Black Adam just starts disemboweling the monsters because he's super powerful.
Godzilla, no!
Yeah. Chimera. And Ray Palmer, the Atom, goes inside of Father Time's bloodstream to take him out at the brain, only to see that there is a hideous alien attached to it, and that's who Father Time really is.
Is that Future Starro?
That's what I was thinking.
Because it has like a weird little starfish almost like wrapped around the brain inside of the little girl's head. So I was like, is that supposed to be Future Starro? I don't know.
In Las Vegas, King Faraday and Frank Rock are trying to track down Ethan Boyer, the geneticist who broke out of jail like 20 issues ago and we haven't heard from since. And 50 Sue is tracking him down. She's dressed like Deathstroke, who is apparently her seventh father.
Yes.
And is calling herself Sequel, which I find kind of amusing.
It is kind of amusing.
As a child, she didn't quite know what a sequel was, but she looked up and it totally checks out. I can call myself Sequel. She wants to kill him, but teleports him to Faraday instead. She then accidentally runs across Grifter's buddy, the Judah Friedlander guy, and hears him talking on his phone to Grifter, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" punches Judah Friedlander in the gut.
Poor Judah Friedlander.
Steals his phone, and is like, "Hey, Cole, Grifter, fake mom, Lana Lang, why didn't you guys call me after you escaped from the island that exploded?" And then you just cut to a panel of Grifter with his head in his hands going, "Oh my god, I will never be free from this little girl. There's a little girl with omnipotent powers who can do anything." So, yeah, she's a bit of a handful. Mm-hmm. And she just finds people to adopt as her new parents after she kills the ones previously.
Very Twilight Zone, the movie.
It's very amusing.
Yeah. I just think it's absolutely hysterical. If you go back and read the early issues, like number 1 issue of how Grifter is portrayed, where he's like wading through and it's all gritty noir, like there's aliens, they've infiltrated us. They're disguise themselves as normal humans, and I'm here. I'm the
only one who can see them.
Yeah, I'm the thin red line between humanity and alien enslavement. And now, all these issues in, he is so comic relief where he's like, I don't want to be married. No, why do I have this little girl following me everywhere? It's such a natural, like, it almost feels like, this is what he's been the whole time as you're reading this issue. Yeah. But when you think back, you're like, holy crap, did they really just kind of lead him along this path to just be a goofy little comic relief character now?
Yeah, so in New York, Batman Beyond and Plastique wax philosophical about Brother Eye really being dead or not, because he's artificial intelligence. We just blew up the thing that he was in. How do we not know he's somewhere else? And sure enough, we see that the AI of Brother Eye has stowed away Lois Lane's cell phone.
Yep.
And then as soon as she plugs him into her phone charger, he starts zipping all around the United States trying to find something, and he comes across the plastic spider robot from the future and takes control of it.
Weep wah.
Ruh-roh. The new also in New York, the new firestorm that consists of Madison Payne and Jason Rush fly to Columbia University to try to separate themselves and fly right above former Red Robin Tim Drake, who, as we all know, is currently living under the name Pigwidgeon Popinjay.
Cal Corcoran.
They then come across their former teacher, Dr. Yamakaze, who has turned into a magnet man in armor named Dr. Polaris.
Or as the internet is calling him, Asian Galactus.
Well, that's another way to look at it, I suppose. Me, I don't see race. I only see magnet armor. Thank you very much.
I think it's just because of the big purple U things off of his helmet. So.
He looks like a magnet. Galactus also happens to look like a magnet.
I don't know. It made me chuckle when I was flipping through different boards, and they're like, "Who's that big Asian Galactus guy?" Oh, internet, you let me down all the time, but make me laugh. Yep. Are you still in?
Yeah, I'm in 33. I'm 33 issues in. I may as well finish it.
I was gonna say you're not too far from the end here. So.
Yeah, wasn't it like 40?
It ends in March.
Okay.
Or it ends at the beginning of March.
Okay, so whatever that may be.
Yeah, March, the great calling of books, I believe.
Yes.
So,
which I'm surprisingly ambivalent about.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like it seems like a natural end for most of them. I don't.
First half of them, I can see that.
I'm not gonna miss some of the other ones at all. And
man, you're Mr. Grumpy Pants.
I know.
Where's the holiday spirit?
I'm certainly shocked and disappointed by Clarion, and I'm not shocked by G.I. Zombie, but I wanted to see it continue.
I hoped so hard. Even Palmiotti on Twitter was like, "It's just such a hard sell."
Yeah.
I mean, when other people were saying, "I try to tell everyone to buy the book," he's like, "I understand, man. It's a hard sell."
I got at least one person to buy the book.
I've got at least 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Someone asked me, he's like, "Hey, is there anything like Marvel Zombies in DC?" I'm like, "Not at all, but if you want zombies, have I got someone named Jared for you?"
And he ain't slinging sandwiches.
Yep. And when it's only $1 at all the comic shops, it's a very easy sell.
Depressing. But what do you have for round 2, Brian?
I've got Batman 37 with Endgame, Batman Superman number 17, Batwoman 37,
Whoa, man!
and Teen Titans 37.
I get that reference.
And then I'm going to be bringing you Batman Eternal number 37, Catwoman 37, Batman and Robin 37, and then I will wrap it up with a little bit of Wonder Woman with since I had to steal books from Brian because he was being too grumpy. So we'll leave with some Christmas spirit on this half, my favorite of the Christmas songs.
Better not be that Paul McCartney song.
No, it's,
okay.
It's It's good. So,
Okay.
Give us a couple seconds. We'll be right back, and we will go through those books.
When I was small, I believed in Santa Claus, though I knew it was my dad. And I would hang up my stocking at Christmas, open my presents, and I'd be glad. But the last time I played Father Christmas, I stood outside a department store. A gang of kids came over and mugged me and knocked my reindeer to the floor. He said, Father Christmas, give us some money. Don't mess around with those silly toys. We'll beat you up if you don't hand it over. We want your bread, so don't make us annoy. Give all the toys to the little rich boys.
And we're back.
God damn it! It was a whole big thing last week where I for the last, months now, I would just notify Brian that I was turning on the recording equipment when we were coming back from break, and he would just go, oh, that's my cue, and jump in with, and we're back! And I was like, that's not what I'm saying to do! But we are back, and it is the Bat half of the show. Holy cow, is it the Bat half of the show? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Batman books alone in this half. I think DC likes Batman.
We could even consider the last one 7.
Yeah, in theory, yeah. So anyhow, we're going to start off with Batman Eternal number 37. By the way, the Kinks are one of those bands that whenever I'm asked what is the greatest decade of music, it's those types of groups that give me pause, and I always give it to the 70s instead of the 90s. Even though I like the 90s, 70s were pretty badass.
They were. Kinks are good.
So, stupid Kinks. Anyway, Batman Eternal number 37 has been a weekly title from DC Comics that has been a long-form story involving Batman. Essentially, him losing everything as some person behind the scenes has been manipulating everything to basically they've gotten Gordon indicted and thrown in jail, Commissioner Gordon, because he was chasing after a bad guy and shot at him, and then it accidentally hit the controls and it derailed a train and killed hundreds of people. Whoopsie. So Commissioner Gordon's in jail. The Bat family has been kind of separated. Wayne Industries, Wayne Technologies, Wayne
Enterprises.
I knew it wasn't one of those. Has been seized by the government because someone was using all of the Bat caches and detonating them, killing civilians, and it turned out to be all Wayne Enterprises technology inside. So he has lost his company, and since he was the CEO, they took his home. Wayne Manor was taken from him and has been turned into Arkham Asylum because Arkham Asylum burned down and fell into a hole. And it's, again, things not going too well, really.
Yeah.
This one we're starting off by focusing on Catwoman, though, who has kind of seen that when all of the crime families are out there fighting against one another and there is no clear leader, a lot of innocent people get killed. So she has decided, since she is the heir apparent of all crime, her father used to be Leo the Lion Calabrese, the kingpin of all crime in Gotham. She has taken on that mantle and is now the leader. And not all of the other families kind of share that vision. So she ends up being attacked, fends it off, and kind of goes about her business once more. What can I do to try to bring more order to the city? Batman, meanwhile, is trying to find the last of the Arkham escapees. When Arkham Asylum burned down, a bunch of the villains got away, ran off, and he is trying to track them down to try to, I guess, salvage something out of everything that's gone wrong. And as he is doing so, he is approached by Sad Sack Hobo Killer Croc, who has also lost everything in this whole battle. He used to be king of the hobos underneath the street, and he had his own kingdom, and he was a runner for all of the crime families. Like, his little hobo communication network would run messages between the crime families, but that entire kingdom was destroyed by, all those people were killed by all the stuff that's been going on. The last person that he was actually trying to protect, this little girl named Jade, ended up getting shot. He's lost everything as well, and he even comes to Batman and says, hey dude, I'm getting kind of screwed over by your little title here. All this little stuff, whoever's targeting you, I'm caught in the crossfire, and that kind of sucks. It sucks a lot. So, you should do something about that if you could. That'd be awesome. And Batman is gonna arrest him. He's like, dude, you got bigger problems than Hobo Killer Croc. Come on. I'm just chilling at the docks drinking booze out of a paper bag here. Leave me alone. And Batman actually does so and goes off to try to find the other guys when Killer Croc is approached by Catwoman, who offers him a job. hey, you want to work for the crime families? Why don't you come back and work for me? At least, we could try to bring some order ourselves to all this stuff. And it looks like he's going to take her up on that offer. Meanwhile, the Bat villains that escaped are all hanging out at a Greek restaurant because they can't go out for shawarma, so I guess it's heroes for the DC side of things. And that is Scarecrow.
They like the juice.
What's that?
They like the juice.
They like the juice. It's Scarecrow, Joker's daughter, Mr. Freeze, Clayface, Bane, and Poison Ivy.
Bane getting a euro is my new favorite thing.
I like the hero. Why do you keep calling them gyros? So anyway, Scarecrow goes, you know what, guys? We have gotten our butts stomped week in and week out. Every week, there's a Batman book. It comes out. One of us shows up and goes, ha-ha, and Batman stomps our faces into the dirt. What if we all teamed up and became like a supervillain team thing? What do you think about that? How does that work? And they all kind of begrudgingly join on. Even Bane does after Scarecrow says, hey, I'll make you a new batch of venom that's even stronger than the one you have right now. And he goes, okay, whatever, just make that and I'll stick around till that's done. Poison Ivy seems to be trying to say she's a better chemist though and getting Bane to work with her instead of Scarecrow. Finally that Batman and Robin tie-in we've been waiting for. Yeah! Catwoman does seem to be watching from video cameras because, if you're going to run organized crime, you have to keep an eye on all the Greek restaurants in Gotham City. Yeah. That's where it all goes down. They like the juice, as you said. Commissioner Bard, Jason Bard, the guy that kind of took over after Commissioner Gordon was arrested, had a mad on for Batman because a fake Batman of Detroit ended up getting his partner / fiance killed. When
you say fake Batman of Detroit, I just imagine RoboCop with a cowl and a cape.
I am Batman. Prime directives, be scary.
I'll buy that for a bat dollar.
So he is running in because now that his mad on is over after his attempt to kill Batman of Gotham City failed, he goes, you know what? I guess I'll try to do this right then. I'm going to try to be a good commissioner. And he runs into another diner, not Greek in this case, because the cops, I guess, hang out at, I don't know, we'll say a good old American style Denny's. That's where the cops hang out. And he runs in where Bullock and Sawyer are at.
I need my moons over my hammy.
He runs into them and he goes, guys.
Where's the Hobbit menu? There's a new movie coming out. Why is the Hobbit menu not back?
My all-American pancakes are cold. Thanks, man. So he ends up running into them and saying, guys, I know I jacked up before. I know I used the police force to try to kill Batman, but I'm changed. I'm a new guy. What do you say we do this right this time? And they all turn their back on him and walk away. He's ended up walking with a cane now because of his leg being all jacked up due to Red Hood throwing him over the side of the building and then just tying a rope around his leg and letting him get it dislocated. So move on. Bats, meanwhile, goes to Catwoman and says, why you now crime boss? What up with that? Weren't we like on again, off again lovers and you were just going to do little cat burglar things and kind of stay out of people's way? Just rob from the rich and the criminals and give to the poor. That was kind of what you were doing. I can let that slide, but now you're the crime boss of all of Gotham. I kind of have to take you in. That's what I have to do. And she goes, no, you don't have to do that. Nothing has changed between us. We're still cool, right? We can still be pals. Tell you what, even to show you how awesome I am, I'm going to give you the best gift ever for Christmas. I have been watching all of your metahuman supervillains over in this Greek restaurant. I'm going to tie them up in a bow and deliver them to you as a present. Merry Christmas, Batman. And that's where we leave off with those guys. The last thing to happen, though, which boggles my mind, and I absolutely loved it. One other member of the Bat alumni is having an issue, and that is Batwing. Batwing has gone home. Remember, after all the crazy spooky ghost stuff at Arkham Asylum, he was like, you know what? No, this is above my pay grade. I'm going home. I'm taking a nap. Screw you guys. And he has gone back to his apartment where his roommate is at as well, and he's hidden his bat suit, his little Batwing suit, and he goes to bed, but his roommate keeps seeing ghosts throughout the apartment. And the issue ends with him calling up Batman going, hey, Batman, remember how we started this whole series where I said I don't really do spooky ghosts and goblin stuff? Yeah, after you maybe hang out with the Spectre and go to that whole spooky Arkham Asylum thing, my suit apparently is haunted by all of the ghosts of Arkham Asylum.
Batwing.
And it's him just like, yeah, again, this is not what I do. Why do you put me in the middle of this crap? It's absolutely hysterical. It's just all these ghosts flying around his apartment while his roommate is just cowering under the couch with cushions over his head like, what's happening? And
Please take me off the lease. I want to move out.
Oh, comic books.
It's great. I love it. I love it. The creepy ghost, though, the first one they saw was his roommate goes into the bathroom and there's some old lady sewing the flesh of children into a new coat for him because it's cold in wintertime.
Okay. Jeez.
Wow.
Man. That really took my Scooby-Doo ghosts out of the picture.
Yeah. So they're not exactly friendly ghosts, it seems. So that's where it ends. I like that Batwing's being pulled back into this crap, even though he has blatantly just been like trying to get away from it this entire 37 issues. Like, no, that's not what I do.
I should have listened to my dad. He's Morgan Freeman. He's got a very commanding voice. I should have just gone along with it.
He needs to pull out his employee handbook and be like, look, here's my job description. There is nothing about ghosts and goblins in here.
Spookums, yes, but not ghosts and goblins.
If it's someone wearing a mask, yes, I will go in and pull off the mask and expose them, but come on. We have to draw a line somewhere. Very good. Very, very good. So we'll move on because it is kind of tied in Catwoman number 37, which is the gritty noir Godfather meets Sopranos style of mob boss interactions, because Catwoman, as I said, is now the mob boss of Gotham City. Again, the families aren't all in completely on this whole thing, and her biggest detractor is a guy by the name of Black Mask, just this other gangster that has like a black skull mask and isn't quite as goofy in this one.
No.
Not at all. And he has allied himself with Rex Mason, which is a comic book name if I've ever heard one.
Rex Mason, wasn't he trying to take down the beer ban?
He's the leader of one of the companies, isn't he?
All I can think of, I'm pretty sure he's the guy that tried to take over Homer Simpson's Prohibition Ring.
I'm sure.
I think that was Rex Barron?
Rex Banner?
Rex Banner?
Rex Banner?
Maybe it's Rex Banner?
Maybe. This is going to be bothering us, and I'm sure we'll get
really
answers
is.
from people.
The Simpsons was canceled in 2000.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time.
It's been out for a while. It's been gone a while.
But the play that Black Mask is making is that he has found out that one of Catwoman's cousins is actually a snitch for the Gotham police and has been telling the police about the movements of drugs and weapons and blah, 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 blah. Catwoman knew about it, but was letting it slide as a check and balance.
It was Rex Banner, everybody.
All right.
Well, there you go. Problem solved.
iPhone.
Unfortunately, Black Mask, why do I have so much trouble saying that? Black Mask leaks that information that it is her cousin, being a snitch to all of the other families, and they basically all turn to her and say, what are you going to do about it? There's only one way that we respond to these types of things, and they all expect her to go, okay, well, I'll figure something out so that I can save my cousin's life while still being a mob boss. And instead, she tells her other cousin to take him out to the farmhouse and put a bullet in his head, and that's what she does. It's a very sad scene. It's a very, like, holy crap, and the entire thing reads as her basically justifying her sacrificing pieces of her soul to try to maintain order, because if this one person dies, 100 people aren't going to die on the streets of Gotham tonight when a gang war erupts, and because, you know, gang wars happen all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's a much...
Especially when Catwoman's involved.
Exactly. It's a very good read as far as the way they do it. I know you're not into the whole crime boss stuff.
Yeah, it's just...
I know it's just not your bag.
Yeah,
That's
my bag,
cool.
yeah.
That's why I took the book. For me, holy crap. Really, really good.
Cool.
Really good. There is one other scene where she walks into the police station and starts making out with Detective Alavarez to compromise the murder squad, because now they don't know if he's dating the crime boss anymore.
Yeah.
And she's like, ha, screw you, hippie. Now no one's going to trust you either. And then just walks out the door and fades off into the crowd. With, apparently the snitches for some of the other families calling in and saying, she was just making out with Detective Alvarez. She's besties with the murder squad. So poor Alvarez and Keys, their moonlighting relationship has another monkey wrench thrown into it. Never gonna get them together.
Why won't they make out, Sean?
They're like the side characters in this entire run of these two detectives that so inept. So
They
inept
just
to
sort of
begin
sit there
with.
at a desk and go, why can't we capture Catwoman? Let's hang out here at these desks for a while longer.
Well, they even complain in this issue where they're like, man, I sure wish we could still keep up with that Catwoman case, but we have to follow this Selena Kyle thing now. And it's like, God, you guys are so inept.
It's the next season of True Detective.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Hashtag season 2.
Though they did have their own vehicle in the Wacky Races issue of Catwoman.
Oh, nice.
There was a wacky where all the supervillains built their own Wacky Races car and raced across the Gobi Desert.
And Nishenti was ahead.
Was
of
it a
South
Lincoln?
Park.
What's that?
Was it a Lincoln?
No.
Oh.
Trying to tie in as much McConaughey stuff as I can.
So for me, I know it's not your cup of tea, Brian, but
Yeah.
Catwoman, 2 thumbs
But
up.
it's certainly not a thing where I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I'm like,
Well, yeah,
oh,
it wasn't
this
a
isn't
quality issue. It
something-
was
yeah, this is just more like, this is not something I would pick up voluntarily. usually.
yeah. So speaking of quality issues, I think you have Batman next.
Oh yeah. Batman Endgame. So, Batman fought the Justice League with one of
Bat
his
Mecha.
with one of his many bat armors. And it turns out they had been intoxicated by Joker venom because the Joker's back. He's been gone for a year or two now.
But we all knew that because we deciphered Eric Border's name. And
yes.
clearly knew that Border was a French Old English word for gesture. And
Yeah. Yeah, there's this like unbelievable, like minuscule character who had the name Eric Border, so we were supposed to all figure out that, oh, if you take these like 18 different dialects and decipher what they could possibly mean when put into this name, it's the Joker.
they were actually concerned that people were going to figure it out. The
Really?
thing is that they didn't use him enough. If he would have been more in the front, I think people have been like, what's up with this Eric Border guy? But
Yeah.
since he's only shown up in like 3 issues or so,
Yeah.
it was kind of like, okay, he's just a side character that works at the hospital now. So
Yeah.
I can understand why people maybe would have plugged it all together. There's people a lot smarter than me. I know
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, so after Batman is able to take out the Justice League, Batman wanders into Joker's old prison cell, and the Joker shows up. It's like, ha! I'm gonna close this door and you're trapped now.
you just beat up Superman, but this door will
With a
stop
gauntlet
you.
with miniature red suns in it, but I'm gonna close this door
Curses!
and spray you with some paralyzing gas, and I'm gonna laugh at you because I'm the Joker. That's what I do. So Joker's back. He's wreaking havoc on Gotham. We come in. Batman has been like sweating out this paralyzing toxin in the Batcave for probably days now, and Alfred and his daughter, Alicia Silverstone, have to tell him
I
that.
was wondering what she's been up to.
Yeah, have to tell him that the Joker has released a super Joker virus into the airstream. It's resistant to all of his Joker toxin antidotes. It's his masterpiece. It's time to break out the Hazbat suit because that has never failed me before. So it's like a Joker zombie infestation in Gotham. It looks pretty cool.
Yes, it's very 28 Days Later where all the people have like rigor mortis smiles and they are just tearing everything apart,
Yeah.
Nice.
including themselves.
Yeah. So Gordon is investigating hospitals and where the infection originated from when he starts looking at old plagues and stuff in the microfiche dating back to the 1910s. And every time there's like a great like plague tragedy, you see the Joker in the background in the shadows of all the old newspaper photos.
For 100+ years.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, what is this?
Maybe the Joker is the devil.
Yeah, so he hears something in his closet and gets a purple boxing glove in the face. The Joker's there. He's trying out this new Devil on Earth personality. He sets out some kerosene. He has flints in his shoes and it sets everything on fire. It's a total gas, Jim Gordon. Ha 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 ha.
Not only that, he was hiding under his bed.
Yeah.
It was the whole thing from the earlier issue where he was saying about how he would go to sleep. The Joker was telling Commissioner Gordon that his favorite thing was to go to the commissioner's bedroom every night because he was the chief of order, the guy that was his main opponent, so to speak, and just lay under his bed and listen to him toss and turn on all the things that he and his fellow criminals have done. And that's what he would do every night, is just sleep under his bed and listen to him toss
Not
and turn.
creepy
It's
at
like,
all.
holy crap, that's creepy. And then this issue, he's like, I was under your bed.
Quick side note on a microfiche. It's going to be really like when are we going to hit a point where that can't be used as a plot device anymore?
Well, he was technically doing it on the internet. I was just saying
okay.
microfiche because it's a fun word to say.
Well, yeah, but I kind of miss microfiche now that you.
It used to be
like,
the
it's just gonna
investigative montage, like
the go-to thing. It's just
turn that dial, make the things go through. Yeah,
bleep bloop iPad.
Yep.
Eventually,
sorry.
Swipe.
Maybe there'll be a microfiche app.
Man.
That just
there
man,
you go.
get on
you
this
just,
guy.
You just made
Yeah.
millions right there. But you have to be able to say enhance, and it'll just zoom in.
Yep.
You can't even do the finger thing. You just say it.
Yeah, you just have to be like enhance.
Yep. So Batman comes across Zombie Joe Chill, the man that murdered his parents, Joker Zombie Joe Chill, and Joker has set up a thing where it's like a little school play where like his kid pal Duke and his parents are coming out of a movie theater, like a fake little movie theater that's playing Zorro, and Joker's Joe Chill is gonna come and shoot his parents, and so Batman freaks out and they're like behind like bulletproof glass, and Batman's gonna try to break in there. At the same time, Gordon is fighting the Joker, and there's 2 shots fired simultaneously, and Batman is able to save Duke's parents, but Jim Gordon shoots the Joker right in the chest.
Yeah! There you go,
Like, okay,
Alex.
Way to go, Ben McKenzie.
Yep.
Wait.
Yes. Yeah, so, okay, Batman, obviously, we got a bunch of crap.
Did he say welcome to the DC, bitch? On the show?
If only. So, Gordon gets on the bat horn with a Batman. He's like, all right, Batman, we've obviously got a lot of crap we got to lock down, but I've killed the Joker. It's finally done. We've got at least got a head start. Now let's work on the zombie thing.
I've turned my back to him, but I shot him. I'm sure everything's fine behind me.
So in the background, Joker just slowly sits up like he's the
Michael Myers.
like he's Michael Myers or the Undertaker or something. And he just sort of like rises up right behind Jim Gordon, all creepy.
That's what it is. He didn't lift his arm up 3 times.
Yeah,
If he would have
exactly.
lifted up once, it would have fell. Twice fell. The third time, his arm would have just stuck up there.
Like, I guess he's
start
not dead.
shaking.
Blam, blam, blam. Couple more shots. Yeah, so Joker gets up and does something to Jim Gordon, and then he gets on the phone and goes, "Hey, Batman, how's it going? Let's dance."
In the moonlight?
Yes.
Is it pale?
In the pale moonlight, yes.
Is he the devil?
He might be. It's certainly a new take on the Joker, I'll give you that.
Well, we get another take of him in the backup as well, don't we?
Yes. We got there's been this really cool backup story where all of these, like, Arkham mental patients.
Yeah, these are straight up just not supervillains, just
mental
insane
patients.
people.
Yeah, they've kidnapped a nurse and or a doctor. They've kidnapped a doctor.
Yep.
Sorry. They kidnapped a doctor and they're telling her
Her fake MD or PhD is very offended.
yeah. Yeah, so they've kidnapped her and they've all been told a different Joker origin story and they've got to tell her all of them. And the only one who's going to get to live at the end of this is the one who has the real one. And so we've gotten like things like, oh, we had a story where the Joker is the devil, which this issue played on. There was one where the Joker was a robot, and we know she's wrong and she's gonna die. And this time the Joker origin story is that there was a clown brought in to raise morale in an old industrial factory in Gotham.
Like late 1800s Gotham.
But he made everyone laugh so much that they started coughing up blood and dying, and like the factory burned down because of the terror that was caused by this clown showing up. And the clown kept laughing and joking and juggling until it burned alive.
Because the people got all pitchfork and torches and burned down his home, and then he just kept laughing.
It's like, so that's why clowns are outlawed in Gotham, and that's why in Gotham if you laugh you die, and why everything's got to be all dark and sad and gloomy there. And apparently it's all the Joker's fault, and he's just this eternal being that causes sadness through laughter. And it was really, really interesting and really, really cool.
Yeah, a lot of it's the tone.
Yeah.
I'm sure it loses so much in the way we're like, just
yeah,
there's people hiding under beds and creepy stuff's going on. A lot of it is the tone of the actual book itself, and when you read it, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, it was really well done, and I've made my Snyderpedia jokes over the course of the run, even though I've been enjoying it, but this really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
This is why it was like, oh, this is what everyone's been talking about, kind of thing.
Well, as I said before, we've even gotten emails asking, hey, why do you guys just kind of glaze over Batman and just kind of quickly rush through it? You don't really give too much pause to it or talk about it that much. That's because, well,
everyone's buying it.
Yeah,
so.
everyone's pretty much reading it already.
We want to talk about Jared the Zombie. Thank you very much.
We have a feeling everyone knows Batman is good. It's hard for us to just throw that log onto the giant pyre of fire right there that everyone knows it's good. So.
Yeah.
But what everyone doesn't know is that Batman and Robin also is super awesome, amazing. I was going to make a whole bunch of Meatloaf jokes because it is Bat Out of Hell, but it seems they went the Soundgarden route instead and called this one Black Hole Sun. So, do you remember Damien, Batman's son?
There's a lot of Damiens.
Okay, not the Omen Damien.
Okay.
But Batman had an actual biological son named Damien.
With Talia
Al Ghul. Yeah, just like at the end of the movie there.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything was hunky-dory. Well, she had a kid. It wasn't quite like that. There was a lot of shirtless sword fighting and scorpions because scorpions make babies, as we discussed before.
Yeah.
Damien was killed, and he was going through this multi-year, oh my God, my kid's dead. I love my dead gay son. You get that one? Does anyone get that one? Thank you. Love that movie. He was so sad, and he's been kind of suffering through it. And then in this last arc, he figured out a way that he could possibly bring his son back to life. But to do so, he has to go to the equivalent of DC Universe's hell, which is Apocalypse, that planet we talked about with Earth 2, where Darkseid lives, the biggest bad guy of the universe. Well, his son's body is there. They've taken it because it has like this chaos shard that was part of their god magic stuff, infected his sarcophagus, blah, 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 blah. They have to go there to get it. And that's what they've done. He has donned this robot suit, for the lack of a better term. Brian, what's it called?
The Hellbat armor?
It's the Hellbat armor. It's all like super high tech. It was forged in the sun by Superman and then tempered at the deepest levels of the oceans by Aquaman. Basically, the Justice League got together and forged this super ultra armor for Batman just in case he had to go fight gods like they do on occasion. And he took this to Apocalypse to get his kid back. And some of the others have come along as well. Cyborg, Batgirl, Red Hood, and Robin, in this case Red Robin, basically said, well, we're going to help too. And they kind of hijack their own way over there to show up as well.
I want to write an all-ages Justice League book where they have to bust out the Heckbat armor.
The Heckbat? It's for much smaller gods. But in this one, it has come down to the ultimate battle. It is Batman, a mere man in his robot suit, versus Darkseid, the biggest, baddest mofo, deity-level villain of the DCU. And they quite literally have a slugfest, punching each other in the face and tossing each other around. Ooh, yeah, it's a wrestle match. And eventually Batman goads Darkseid into killing him with his Omega Sanction, which are the little eye beams that he shoots out. They zip all over the place. But as they're just about to hit Batman, it was all part of his plan. He lifts up the Chaos Shard that he had, and it absorbs that energy. He's like, thanks, Darkseid, that's what I wanted, and blasts him with his armor, and then goes, whoop, 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 come on, guys, let's get out of here. And they jump through the portal that Batgirl had to hotwire on Cyborg again, because remember he tried to overload that stupid gun, the giant cannon they were using to destroy planets, and ended up getting his circuits fried, so he's stuck and can't move. So Batgirl opens up the portal, and they all jump through, and as soon as they get through with Damien's body, the Chaos Shard that's glowing, and all the people get through, Batman starts ejecting off pieces of his armor, and he's all infected by whatever disease was on this planet, and the shard is counting down essentially until it explodes because it absorbs so much energy, and they're like, oh my god, oh, hurry up, we gotta open up sarcophagus, and they dump out Damien. They're like, okay, I gotta get the shard. He ejects off his gloves, and then he lifts up the shard, and as he does so, it makes him make a decision on who he will bring back to life, and it says, I can bring your parents back to life, or I can bring your son back to life. And he has to make this split-second decision, and as he does, he brings the shard down into his son's chest and yells out, and now the Omega Sanction, the death that shall now bring life, and plunges it into his chest, and it big explosion of light, and all the disease gets blown off of him, and everyone's like, whoa, what happened? And Damien comes back to life and sits up, And Titus runs up and licks him in the face, and everyone's like, holy shit! Except for Cyborg, who is stuck facing the opposite direction on the ground, asking, what's happening, guys? I can't see anything! Poor Cyborg!
Somebody roll me over.
And as it's happening, Damien's like, is this a dream? Is this actually happening? And he's like, no, son, you're actually here. We did it. We brought you back. Thank God you're here. And Batman slumps to the ground dead. Whoops.
Yep.
What we find out, though, is that Damien has superpowers now in this whole thing. So that's why I'm saying if Batman has superpowers, now he can hang out with his son.
Kind of spoiled it at the end of every issue there, guys.
Yeah. Thanks. So the reason I even mentioned it.
Yeah.
Because it was at the end of every issue. Mm-hmm. Mutter, grumble, grumble, grumble. But Damien's back!
Give it a week, guys. Come on.
Damien's back! Yeah!
Weird he hasn't shown up in Endgame or any of those other things that are taking place in the future.
Maybe he's training.
Maybe.
That I'm sure they didn't want to spoil it.
I know.
Far ahead, even though it was already spoiled by the interwebs. And I was avoiding everything as far as his fate. So even
I was hoping
know.
I managed to avoid it, but
yeah, I was
until
avoiding
that last page of like Supergirl or whatever I read.
Yeah, I know. I should have read it first, but I didn't. And I make Meatloaf jokes at the beginning, but this entire arc has been a rock opera of comics. Kind of big, bombastic, stylistic, a lot of energy. Just it's pure
tanks that look like dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean it's pure unadulterated comic bookery. But it's so much fun, and it has ended with me getting back one of my favorite characters. So, Thank you guys. Happy holidays to you as well.
All right, moving on to Batman Superman 17. Superman is dealing with his own Joker. There's this unknown guy who's been trying to assassinate people close to Superman. He doesn't show any remorse. No one knows how he's doing it. And Batman's just like, yeah, it looks like you got your own Joker. Sure does suck to be you, Superman.
Again, don't go into any cells that doors can be shut in.
Yes. Yeah, so at the end of last issue, 3 people were attempted to be assassinated. This general out in Iraq, this Korean pop singer that Superman helped once, and Lex Luthor. And Lex Luthor. And Superman manages to save Lex Luthor, plus he had his, super armor on or whatever. And
Superman loves K-pop.
Mm-hmm.
And he should.
Lex winds up being the one that gets saved, and Lex Luthor goes. There's a really interesting thing where he talks about all of the residual deaths that will happen because of these 2 assassinations. How like this peacekeeping Middle Eastern guys, like now that he's not there, there's going to be all these insurgencies and extra wars and stuff like because of him.
12,000 people die over the next year because this guy got killed.
Yeah, and then he's just like, oh, and hey, because this K-pop singer died, like some of her fans who she brought hope to are going to kill themselves and. All sorts of stuff. It's like, so yeah, way to screw that up, Superman. Also, even just because of my assassination attempt, my stocks are going to go down. So thanks a lot for having this horrible, horrible assassin villain, Superman.
But he does say he made the right choice because if he died, all of his factories would close and people would be out of jobs and the ancillary damage would be like tens of thousands of lives would be killed. And he's like, yeah, so good job. You did the mental comp there and figured out I was the guy to save. He's like, that's not really what I was doing, but...
You were closest, but all right.
Yeah, I was next door. I was eating some corn bagels.
Yeah. So that was really interesting. They start drawing on like all of the past Superman history that we thought was just going to be completely swept under the rug. Like they go and they consult with Hector Hammond, the evil giant head telepathic villain in his cell, so he can try to find use his mind powers to track down who could possibly be doing this on the planet. And he narrows it down to Sexy Time Lobo.
Yep.
It's actually a very funny scene where he goes and he tries to, where like Lobo is trying to not let Superman know he's an assassin. He's like, you were just yelling at the Metropolis police about what a great assassin you are. I totally heard you. I'm Superman. And then he literally punches him off the planet.
Yeah, he says, now get off my planet. Well, what are you going to do about it? Then the next panel is
uppercut.
Just Lobo in space floating away going, I need a ride.
Yeah, so the bad guy taunts Superman because he tracked down the wrong person. So everyone who has been a target has been protected, except for Lois Lane because Batman has told her you're going to be the bait.
I'm sure that's going to work out well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very, very well. Lois Lane's never putting into any danger whatsoever.
Luckily, good thing Lana Lang has been covered in liquid metal.
They even do say that, though.
Luckily, she's been covered in liquid metal by Steel. She'll be okay.
She's A-okay.
Steel's answer to everything is covering stuff in liquid metal.
It works. But you have another Bat
Yes,
book,
I've got Batwoman 37.
Whoa, man.
So Batwoman is a...
Harriet. Sorry.
That's all right. So Batwoman is a vampire now, and Madame Nocturna is controlling her mind to make her be her girlfriend and to scare all of her enemies. Also happening, Jason Blood is naked and fighting the demon, and he doesn't remember him, even though the writer remembers Demon Knights, and I thank him for it.
Yes, he makes many references.
Mm-hmm. So he was, so the demon was raised by hell, by the weird cult from last issue, and they are trying to resurrect Morgan Le Fay. So Batwoman winds up getting involved in their tussle, and the demon is able to use his demon powers to snap her free from Madame Nocturna's vampire mind control. But she's still a vampire.
Yes.
So, meanwhile, also happening in this issue, two guys steal something from Ragman's antique shop. So he rags up and goes after them. He's a superhero who's got like the powers of rags.
He turns other people into rags and adds them to his rags.
Yeah, he can turn people who are evil into rags and adds them to his suit, and then he's got like magical powers based on that.
Do people ever like soak him and light a match and stuff him in a bottle and then throw him?
He's got to watch out for those cat people. I know that much.
Well, the Sham-Wow almost put him out of business.
Sham-Wow almost did, yeah.
But what about all my rags, guys? Yeah, we don't need that. We
got Vince now. Who needs you, Ragman? Yeah, so the same guys who stole something from his antique shop also pretend to hire Clayface, and then when they get him in their van, they freeze him and capture him, take him to a mansion where the other cult members are, perform some weird ritual thing, put the medallion around his neck, start chanting something, and then Morgan Le Fay bursts out from inside of Clayface.
Man.
What?
Man, Clay gets a lot of play this week.
Yeah, he does.
Not Clayface, I'm just saying Clay in general.
Clay in general,
yeah. What are you thinking? It's starting to at least explain how all of these people end up in space fighting Morgan Le Fay.
Yeah, they start off, they did a whole, it's like, okay, here's our last shot to try to resurrect Batwoman as a comic. So here's an issue where like Batwoman's in space with like a weird super team of supernatural people fighting, a
Arthurian legend.
Arthurian legend. It's like, wait, what the heck is this? And then they've been kind of filling in the gaps from every issue since. And I've been enjoying it. I can totally see how people who were enjoying it before would not care for it.
Yeah, that was part of the real talk we were going to have at the beginning, and I'm pushing that off.
Yeah, we'll deal with that later.
Yep. So, at face level, though, it's amusing. I'm
happy to see people that remember Demon Knights. The target audience for this book is apparently me.
Brian.
Yes.
Man, I wonder why it's getting canceled.
Oh, yeah, I know,
with
right?
that broad market scope that they pointed at with you. Well, my last one also is Clay related, and I have Wonder Woman, number 37. I know you have another book after me, but it's my last book. How do I want us to do this one? We'll do it a little bit out of order here. Wonder Woman has found herself as now the God of War. She took on that mantle after the actual God of War died, very video game-esque style. She is now the God of War herself, and is also Queen of the Amazons because her mom got turned into a statue by Hera, and then they forgot to put a tarp over it, and it rained and it melted, and they went, whoops, I guess she's gone, and now she's queen as well. So she is off training with Clark Kent, her boyfriend. She's dating Superman right now, and ends up snapping at him while they're training because he's like, are you sure you're okay? You seem pretty angry. Why are you so upset?
You're acting bizarrely out of character.
And he nags her enough until finally she snaps and goes, dude, I am under crazy pressure right now. I am the God of War. I know you're Superman. I'm the God of War and queen of a nation of Greek mythology and a Justice League member. I got a lot of shit on my plate right now. I'm barely keeping all these plates spinning. Lay off, back off. I'll call you later. Okay. And he's like, ew. He just kind of sneaks on out the back, and then Wonder Woman, after hitting the showers, heads on back to the council.
She hits the showers again, huh?
No, she doesn't actually.
Okay.
I'm just saying because she's not in her training gear anymore.
I see.
She ends up going to the Council of Themyscira. I knew you were going to jump on that as soon as I said it. She goes to the Council of Themyscira, where I'm just going to call her Old Crony McPenis Hater, who is so ticked off that all of the men of Amazonia have been brought back. We found out in earlier issues that the reason Themyscira is populated only by women is that whenever they give birth to a son, that son is traded to Hephaestus to work in his forges for weaponry. And then, Themyscira came under attack recently, and Wonder Woman said, well, we need everyone we can get, brought all the guys back, and has decreed all the guys can live here again. They are children of Themyscira. It's kind of jerkish for us to be like, yeah, here, you stupid boys. Except for this old crone who is just like, penises! And just wants them all off the island at once more. Hence, old crony McPenishater. Yep. Well, she tells Wonder Woman, you have to stay on the island. We're tired of you running around having all your adventures. And if you're going to be queen of the Amazons, you have to stay here and deal with all of this stuff that you have just dumped in our lap. Or in their laps in this case, because it's penises. And, of course, Wonder Woman goes, I can't turn my back on the rest of the world. I have to save everyone. If I don't save the world, we die with it. It's kind of we live here as well. We're just on an island on the planet. And that's when the island is attacked by Stymphian birds, who I guess hang out with, War all the time. They used to be War's pet. And, they're trying to get to her. She finds out, and they keep causing destruction along the way because that's what they do. They're destructo birds. So the Amazons fight them off, and as she's like, Stymphian birds, I should probably do something about that. She gets a call from Cyborg that says, hey, another village got washed out by water. I know you're our water expert, so we need you to swing by and help out. And she ends up leaving the island behind, much to the dismay of old crony McPenishater.
Yeah.
She is very upset that she has left. So, Crony McPenishater goes and throws down a deal with this evil sorceress and ends up sacrificing her own daughter in the process, and her grandchild is taken away. And what these witches do is they melt down the clay statue of Hippolyta. They take the statue bits, all the rest of it, throw it in a pot, throw some of the blood in from the sacrifice.
Few bones, get yourself a stew going.
Get yourself a nice meaty stew going.
Haven't once touched my per diem.
But they end up mixing it all up, and then finally they go, okay, everything's done. We will bring our own Amazon into play to actually deal with this whole thing and maybe make a claim on the throne itself. So arise, Donna Troy, and get on out there and do some craziness. And the internet broke immediately afterwards. Because they're like, wait, Donna Troy is now a clay clone of Hippolyta in a blood sacrifice now? And then the other half of the internet was
like she wasn't already convoluted.
That was the other half of the internet was like, you know what? Why not throw it on the pile? Yeah. Because, again, I read the Death and Return of Donna Troy as my
you tried to do that?
As my lead into Infinite Crisis.
Oh,
and I was like,
good job,
what the hell is this? Oh yeah, I'm from old Cronus and I'm a god there, but then I came here because... But
I was pick it up with a pair of tongs and throw it in the fire immediately afterwards?
No, it's up there on the shelf.
Okay.
Still. It's still up there. So other than old crony McPenishater, I don't have much to cling to on this one. It's a solid story. It's just, it's for people coming off the last run.
It's not the first 35 issues of Wonder Woman.
No, it's a sharp left turn, and it's taking a different route. As I said last month, they're still paying homage to everything that came prior. They haven't swept it under the rug or anything like that, so you gotta give them credit there. It's just it's obviously a big
Wonder
direction
just taking
shift.
a lot more showers, that's all.
I like the art. I think the art is
shower
good.
Scenes and everything.
There's a bit of sexy time when it comes to the Wonder Woman and in the new artistic
and while she was like naked in bed in the first issue, as someone pointed out,
yes,
it was not really a thing that happened very often in the book. And if something like that did, it was usually because of a character where it made sense that it was happening.
I can see those complaints. I completely understand. It's just it's a different style. You have to say, okay, this guy's going this route. If it's your bag, it's your bag. If it's not, or if it's taking away enough from the story that you can't enjoy it, that's cool. I mean, that's your choice, really. It's not bad art. It's impossible to say that's bad art, like at a technical level.
Are there a lot of shower scenes with conveniently placed steam?
Actually.
Yeah, there you go.
Very hot showers. Yeah. Very hot.
When you're a god, you gotta burn that dirt off.
Yeah, just that whole first layer of skin has to go so that the steam can build up enough.
All right, so we're finished off with Teen Titans 37. Scott Hepburn's on fill and art.
Holy crap!
Oh my
dude.
god, I love Scott Hepburn. I wish he would get a monthly. Maybe he'll be taking over. I don't know.
And I am
care.
the biggest Roquefort fan on the face of the planet. I've said that for 2 years now. I've been championing that guy's work. But Hepburn made it so fun.
Yeah.
This issue was so fun due to his art style.
Yeah. So I'm just going to rush through this because we're getting towards the end. A bunch of spoiled teens, your typical spoiled teens. Hey, we're rich and we're jerks and we're wearing school uniforms. Let's get some drugs. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I saw traffic. So they get some drugs and they're from Star Labs that give them superpowers. And so they get like, someone's got fire powers. I've got strong Hulk powers, et cetera, et cetera.
I got muscles.
I've got invisible powers. We kind of turn into the Fantastic Four. Shh. So they attack Wonder Girl, who's walking with her mother, and her Legion of Wonder Girl wannabe vigilante fans.
Yes,
the Wonder Girls.
Her roller derby team that she has that follows her, it looks like.
Yeah. Also, we go back to Titans Tower. Actually, not. Is it even a tower anymore? Is it just an apartment?
It's just an apartment. It's a penthouse.
Their hideout.
It's not the Titanic.
No, it's not the Titanic. So Manchester Black, he's certainly not at all evil guy working for Star Labs, is trying to get the Titans to join up with them. Look, he fixed my tooth. We get dental if we join up with Star Labs.
I absolutely love the fact that that's his selling point.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I know this is a weird thing, but we get dental coverage. Come on. Come on.
we get beat up a lot.
These days, that's a lot.
Yeah. So he's like, he wants us to join up with him. It seems perfect, almost too perfect. So Beast Boy, I need you to go undercover at Star Labs. Instead of turning into giant monkeys and dinosaurs, can you turn into like something small that can sneak around? It's like, oh yeah, you like lice or an adorable little mouse? Yeah, I can totally do that. Does Beast? Oh yeah, Beast. One time he appears in his actual form. Other times he's like this awesome like capuchin monkey. And
yes. It's been a running joke in this new run of Teen Titans where he just is always a different animal, and Brian is just like the most absurd animal you can possibly be is what he's just like, oh yeah, just show up as, I don't know, he was a howler monkey this week, but you wanted like, something like marmots or whatever.
I just really enjoy seeing the artists, like both Roquefort and now Hepburn seem to just really be enjoying the opportunity to draw things they normally wouldn't be able to draw in a superhero comic.
He's been an alpaca.
There was a time where he turned into a buffalo just so he could stomp on a guy that they'd already beat up. It was great. The rest of the team goes to help Wonder Girl. Beast Boy, as a little tiny mouse, sees Manchester Black watching them and only sees the good parts of what they're saying, where they're just like, oh, look how great the Teen Titans are. Check this out. One of the spoiled teens finds out that Wonder Girl's mom is there, so he throws a car at her when one of the Wonder Girl fans pushes her out of the way, then gets flattened by the car.
Oh, no!
And then lifts the car up. Because one of the fangirls is the new Power Girl from World's Finest.
Yes.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Something she's already doing more than she ever did in World's Finest.
Hey. Were they just out in front of a pastry shop and that's why she was there?
Maybe. But yeah, we're getting a new teen hero being thrown into the mix.
Yeah, which is great. They do need to mix that up a bit and get some more characters on there. Bunker, again, was my breakout character in the last run, and he was a new creation. He was just hey, we have all these other guys, but hey, here's a new guy. And he was kind of the guy I liked. But yeah, throw him on there, man. Throw him on. Have fun. I want Teen Titans to be huge.
Yeah.
I want like 50 people on the Teen Titans. I want it to be
the Legion of Superheroes
with kids.
Yeah. Legion of Superheroes is superheroes with kids.
Shut up! In the present day.
Yeah. They say they're inspired by the Justice League. Probably should have said they're inspired by the Teen Titans.
Yeah. It would have made more sense.
Mm-hmm. In the future, you can retcon it. Something changes.
Just as many of them die whenever something happens. So.
Yeah, really.
See, I can make reference to old-timey jokes, too.
Yes.
Look at me. I've read things. But yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. Surprisingly so.
Yeah.
Considering how much flack you gave the last run of this.
Yeah, well, and again, Will Pfeiffer's a great writer.
Bartor!
Oh, man. Oh, way to ruin my favorite character.
But that's it. That wraps us up for this show. Happy holidays as my infant is hammering away at the walls here. Reminder to you guys though, go out there and buy these books. I know it's probably 2 days to Christmas. If you are last minute shopping, just go pick up a graphic novel. There's something out there for everyone, whether it's an old Western with All-Star Western or Jonah Hex, or a sci-fi, a romance. There's all different kinds of stories. You can give it a shot.
Zombie espionage.
Yeah, zombie espionage. If you want James Bond as a zombie, we got that covered.
Yeah.
We got that covered for you. But there's so many different things out there. Make sure you go out there and buy the books, because if you don't buy them, they don't make them, and nobody wins in that scenario. You ready for the Ultra edition of next week's books?
Yeesh, yeah, Christmas Eve, everybody.
Christmas Eve, Brian and I are going to be recording, right?
Nope.
Christmas Day, Brian and I are going to be recording. Day after Christmas, Brian and I are going
Nope.
Well, luckily we have so few books to get through. Due to the holiday schedule, Scott, it would appear that they have collapsed their normal stretching out of books, so many each week, into thump. Here's all of our books next week. I believe we have 22 issues coming out.
I thought it would go about to go the other way.
No,
like 0
the
books.
week after that is 2. The one in between Christmas and New Year's.
Uh-huh.
So, leading off, we have Earth 2 World's End, number 12. The Flash, number 37. Infinity Man and the Forever People, Secret Origins, number 8. Grayson Origin. It's by the same creative team. So
Okay,
I'm like, New 52 Futures End, number 34, with the Atom being overrun by calamari, it looks like.
Nice.
Star Spangled War Stories featuring G.I. Zombie, number 5. One of our favorites.
Yo, Jared.
I think I read the first
Yeah, you read
one
the
of
first
that one.
issue,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was pretty good.
Yeah. Superman number 37, Superman / Wonder Woman number 14, Batman Eternal number 38, Batman Annual number 3, and Endgame tie-in. Dun dun dun. Grayson Annual number 1. Yes, he got his own annual. Robin Rises Alpha number 1. Yes, Damian got his own book. Arkham Manor number 3. Gotham by Midnight number 2. Yeah. Harley Quinn number 13. Catwoman Annual number 2. Red Hood and the Outlaws Annual number 2. Red Lanterns number 37. Sinestro number 8. Green Lantern Annual number 3. Justice League Dark number 37 and Deathstroke number 3. Almost threw He-Man in there as well, but I think we'll let him slide. So yes, there's a lot of books. We're still working out whether we are going to try to do them all next week, because the week following that, there's only 2 books coming out, or if we're going to push it or split it or how we're going to do it. So play it by ear. We'll let you know. Just because it falls directly on the holiday, it's very difficult for us to find the time to even read that many books.
Yeah.
Let alone cover them. So we'll get it done. It just may not be as timely as we would like, or you guys are used to. So chill. I guess at the end of that.
Do it, Scott. Do it.
Oh,
No,
chill out.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry.
So if you want to contact us, you can reach us at where? The internet?
The internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can find us at the internet. It's pretty easy. We are DCR Podcast everywhere. Or you can email us at feedback@dcrpodcast.com. So from all of us here, have a wonderful holiday. Brian, are you wishing people happy holidays?
A Merry Catsmith and a Happy Katanika.
Oi. Oi. How about you, Scott? Do you want people to have horrible holidays?
Merry Luda Christmas.
Yo, yes, Luda Christmas, Luda Christmas.
But make sure you have some fun. Enjoy the time off. Enjoy hanging out with folks, and make sure you come back next week or the week after, or maybe 2 weeks. Who knows? And where we'll go through some more books and do this once more. So enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we will talk to you then.